guys, it's Catherine and welcome back to my channel. I have another video for you today that is from that same class that I got an incomplete in. Like, I have 5 classes this semester because I have to like make work for this class that I'm making up for that I took last semester. So it's a lot of extra work and this is just another one of them. I still have to do another one by Tuesday, but I'm pretty happy with this one. I think it's really neat. It is made with Copic multi-liner, watercolor, and then the Pentel Brush pen, which I'm going to talk a little bit about, do a little review on that. A couple other kinds of pens in here, but I'll go over those when I get there. So, repeating element in this painting is the hexagons, and I really like the repetition and the geometry. I do a lot of like geometric stuff anyway, so I didn't use any like grids or math or pencil to like make these smaller hexagons. I kind of just like went with it, and like if some of them ended up more octagonal or less hexagonal, like I was fine with it. I just went with it, and I liked that kind of aspect to it. I used Stabilo 0.5 drawing pen, which is not waterproof. And I was noticing this, I was discovering this at this point when I was painting the water in, so I could make kind of more hinty, sort of like less obvious hexagons, larger ones, and like the paint, the ink was mixing in, so I only did like a little bit of color instead of making it like all purple like the other ones, because I thought about doing that at first, but I liked kind of having that like bluish, grayish tone with a tiny bit of color kind of mixing together. I thought that was really interesting. So that pen also is like really thin, it's a 0.5, so I used the Copic multi-liner to like thicken up, both to thicken up the lines but also to fix the shapes of my hexagon. This is Penstick pen by Alvin. It's a technical drawing pen. I make little lines inside of my hexagons. And then art tip, if you have wet paint and you're drawing on top of it, use your drafting brush as a bridge so that you don't get your hand in it. And at this point, I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my hexagons. I didn't like him, so I erased him. That was just a test. But I decided that I was going to make little scenes inside of the hexagons and then kind of connect them almost like the game Clue or like Mousetrap or something. Like there's doors that go in, like kind of like if you go through the door you like fall into the room below, or you like go upstairs and you end up like inside of the floor, not stairs but a ladder, like you end up in the floor of like a library. And then I started using the brush pen here, and there's a couple of things I noticed about it. It takes a long time to dry, especially on top of the watercolor, and it smeared on the surface a couple times when I was using it and when I was like trying to erase my lines. The pen has really good flow. Even when you're using it quickly, it doesn't feather too much, especially on a watercolor paper, which is interesting because it's not a really textured watercolor paper. It's pretty soft, and it's Arch 300 gram hot pressed, very smooth. It's pretty absorbent, which is surprising that it takes so long for it to dry because it's absorbent paper. So it's possibly too juicy, like maybe like too much of the ink comes out. I don't know. But I like how expressive the lines that you can create are with this pen, and that offers a lot of depth within your subject and a lot of like hinting of lines, which I really like that. You'll see more of that hint stuff when I actually get to erase that pencil. But the nice thing about this pen is that it's waterproof. But actually I smeared it when I went to erase on this guy coming out of the ceiling. Also, my 3 figures, I wanted a human presence because that's what the bed and the chair and the sitting room and the house were for. Like, I wanted that human presence, but I wanted them to be different sizes because I wanted it to add to that, like, the depth of the composition. And everyone's floating in space, and it's kind of like, I kind of like the idea of like that this is what it looks like to live inside the internet, or like to live inside like some type of technology, because the hexagons kind of make me think of pixels. And then I didn't show it when I was drawing it, but you'll see it later. I added these little horizontal hexagons, just like kind of floating, and I put like a chair, a table, and a bed just like sitting on them, and I have them really tiny. Like they're in between the size of the little room hexagons and like the tiny ones, and they're just like horizontals, and it kind of just adds to like the depth of that as well, which is nice, and I like them. And I haven't actually done any figure drawing for this video, or for this channel, so I wanted to incorporate these guys for that reason. One, because they help my concept, but two, because I just haven't done those yet. So I actually have a video coming up of me drawing hands, because I know a lot of people are really afraid of drawing hands, but I will talk a little bit about figure drawing, life drawing, while I'm working on the hands. My own hand, actually. So it's like drawing from life and drawing life from life. That was not funny. I'm sorry. So that's also another reason I did 4 different sizes of the hexagons, like the tiny ones that are kind of like 1 0 0 1 0 1, like, you know, and then like the medium-sized ones, which are like, kind of like the rooms, and like the larger ones that are sort of like backgrounds, and they're sort of like, maybe you can kind of see them as like firewalls, where they're like, you know, breaking apart, or, you know, like these larger ones are kind of, I don't know, separating things. I mean, I'm getting pretty close to the end now here. So I'm going to go into a little bit of close-up, but before I do that, I will talk about this technique. It's wet and wet, so I kind of like created the shape of the hexagon with pencil, and then I just put water in the entire part that I wanted to get color into, like around all the little hexagons and like around the guys' bodies and everything, and then I just, you know, dabbed in a little bit of color and just let it kind of flow, and then I just like splattered in yellow so that it would stay, some of the integrity of the color would stay yellow, but it also kind of would just like turn green. Yellow does that. It doesn't really like spread quite as much, which is why I like using it. And yeah, I use the same brush for the entire thing. I probably could have used a larger brush for some parts, but just because I don't want to be switching up a bunch and having to clean another paintbrush is why I just use that same one. And the color palette was pretty limited. It was like pretty much just limited to this like cyan yellow and a little bit of magenta. Well, I guess cyan yellow magenta, but I didn't use too much of the magenta. I mostly just like made like a bluish purple, turquoise, and the yellow. So here's just a little bit of close-ups. That's kind of how the, you know, how the rooms are connected. That's you know, a library and a bedroom, a sitting room, and the front of the house. And here's where that one guy is like falling off, and you can see one of the beds there. Yep. And then also this pen is the Pen 6 Alvin technical drawing pen. It is not waterproof, and when I put the water around it, it's sort of like the blue color and the yellow color of the pen mixed in with the water, but I was okay with it. I thought it looked interesting anyway. And right here you'll see on the foot where the Pentel Brush pen smeared, there's a little chair. Looks like a wheelchair, but whatever. It's a chair. So, and here's a close-up of the lines that I did with that same Pen 6 pen. And yeah, you'll see that's pretty much everything, and I really enjoyed doing it, and I'm excited about it, and I actually want to make something else kind of like this, and I will do another video for that now, probably today. I'm inspired, and yeah, that's it. So thanks for watching. If you've used the Pen 6 Pentel Brush pen, let me know, because I want to hear what your thoughts on it are, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks. Bye.